Pete from PTM Guns. I'm here today doing a disassembly, reassembly, and instructions on cleaning on a 1911. Today we're going to be working with a Remington 1911. We are going to first make sure it's empty. We're going to make sure that the chamber is empty. We are going to double and triple check, and we're going to actually physically put our finger in there and make sure it doesn't have any ammunition. Whenever we clean a gun, disassemble a gun, we always make sure that all of our ammunition is not in any of the area that we're working with. So if we have a loaded mag, we always make sure we bring it to a different room, a different part of the house, and we leave it away from where we're cleaning. Once we go to work on it again, I'm going to actually cycle it again, and I'm going to double and triple check it one more time, because we can never be too careful when making sure whether a gun is loaded and not loaded. We're also making sure that our muzzle is facing in a safe direction. Today, the safe direction for me is that way. And that is going to ensure safety for everybody involved. I always talk about building up muscle memory and also not getting into bad habits. When you practice good habits with guns, they're built in as muscle memory. You don't have that complacency you get from doing bad habits and repeatedly doing it and then having an accident. The last thing we want is to someone have an accident and to get hurt or killed. So yeah, we're just gonna go over the basic disassembly. I'm gonna show you how I would clean it. It may not be the way everyone cleans it, but I'm just gonna give the general directions, and then I'm gonna reassemble. I will give you a couple of tips that I feel are helpful to me. So we've established that this is empty. The first thing we're gonna do is we are going to put it into this position right here. Your home position is if you were going to fire it. What I like to do is I like to use our manual safety right here just to help us so the slide doesn't move. With a 1911, this little button right here, I'm going to call it a button, there is spring pressure behind it. And we're going to pull back just a little bit so that it's not in battery. So when we release pressure by pushing the slide down a little bit, that's going to allow us to depress this little button right here, and it's going to let us rotate this barrel bushing over clockwise, and then we're going to slowly release this button, and we're going to take it out of the way and put it right here. Now that we've done that, we can lock this back on safe, which will support the slide from falling down. And we're going to actually rotate it counterclockwise like this through the spring, and we're going to wrestle it out of the slide. Because this one's tight, same thing I said before, we're going to release the slide a little bit, and we're just going to wiggle it out. Okay, so now what we're going to do, if you can see, which I know it's difficult, there's a little half moon right here. On this lever, there's also a half moon that it matches up with. So when we get to here, we'll be able to push on this little rod right here, and it will pull out like so. Once we do that, I'll flip it upside down and I'll pull the slide off. So with the slide off, I'm able to pull the guide rod out and the guide rod spring. I'm going to flip that little link forward, and I'm going to take out the barrel. Now when we get to this point, this is where I would typically clean it. I would take my brush, I would run it up through here with some solvent. Typically this is the solvent I use. This is just the solvent I use. I'm not supporting any one brand or not. I'm going to clean this all up. On the frame, I'm going to take some grease. Doesn't matter, just a good gun grease, whatever you prefer. I don't use black grease unless I absolutely have to, because I think it looks dirty. It's just a weird personal preference. You're going to put a little bit of grease wherever it's shiny. Not a lot. Grease attracts dirt, as anybody who's been here, I've told you it does. Just enough to lubricate it. We're going to go to the slide. We're going to take our handy plastic brush. We're going to clean it like this. We're going to clean out the inside. We're going to swab the whole inside of this slide, making sure we clean all up in here. Big places on here is going to be right here on the breech face. We want to give that a really good scrub. This gun is already clean, that's why I'm not going crazy with it. But then we're going to take our bore brush or bore snake, whichever we prefer to use. We're going to drop it down this way, like this. We're going to pull it through, and we're going to clean our bore. We're going to make sure that right here, that this whole area is clean. This has a little bit of grease on it right now, so I'm going to put it back in. Flip our little link forward like that. Put our barrel in like this. Once we do that, we're going to start to reassemble, going back the way we did it originally. Let's begin reassembly. Reassembly, we're going to put the barrel in like this with the link heading forward towards the muzzle. We're going to take our little guide rod spring. If you take this guide rod spring off to clean it, which I'm not going to, but there is an open end and there's a closed end. The closed end always goes back towards here. It'll hold it on there. And this is actually a little bit bigger diameter, so you want to make sure that this is facing out towards the end of the muzzle. So we're going to feed this through into the position. Important thing to do when cleaning or taking apart any gun is to take pictures. Regardless of how many times you've done it, it helps you identify when where something goes and how it goes back together. So now what I'd like to do is upside down. I'm going to take the slide and I'm going to slide it as if we're pulling the slide back. So we're going to line it up. It's a little bit more difficult to do while I'm doing it up in the air. We're going to slide back like this until, in this model, we have a little lever that has to be depressed. Don't ever force anything. If it doesn't go together easy, there's probably a reason for it. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put our little lever back in. So our little lever has to line up with that little link on the barrel that we were moving around. So we want to make sure our barrel is all the way back, like so. And what we need to do is we need to line up that link in there to make sure that this lever will go through it. And we may have to jiggle it around a little bit, like so. And before we push it all the way in, we're just going to lightly get it into position. This is the spot where we get what's called an idiot scratch. If you take this lever and push it against the frame or the slide and turn it like this little sharp point on the lever is going to scratch the slide and the frame. It's called an idiot scratch. I don't know why, but it is avoidable. Okay, so again, we're going to find our little cutout and we're going to line it up. Once we're in that position, we're going to try to push it in like that. Popped right in. Now, most 1911s will pop right in, with the exception of a couple models. One in particular is the Springfield. The Springfield makes a great tight gun from the factory, but the detent is extra tight right here. So what I like to use is what I call a spoon or something, a little flat piece of metal that will guide it in. If you're very careful, you can push that detent in right there to help the lever get past it. You can also use a non-marring tool. They make these non-marring tools that work great for them. You can try to use something that's pointed that you can get in there just to help it by. So now we've got that in there. Now what we're going to do, knowing that the bushing has to be put in with the slide slightly back, we're going to leave the slide unlocked. We are going to drop our bushing in 4 o'clock position, and we are going to slide it all the way around to about the 8 o'clock position. At this point, we are going to push down on that little button, holding it and rotating this in until it fits in the notch. If you've done it correctly, the slide will move like that. Your safety. When you pull the trigger, the hammer will not go down. Your safety will go up and down. Everything works as it should. When in doubt, ask, Everybody's got my email, ptmguns@gmail.com. If you've got a question about function on a gun, send me some pictures, ask me the question. I'd rather you be safe. So at this point, that's pretty much what we do to disassemble and reassemble. I hope I didn't miss any steps for you guys. One thing I will point out, and I can tell you I know this from my own experience. We all learn at a different level. And I can tell you when I learned at the beginning that if the magazine, which this one is empty, is in the gun, you will not be able to take this lever out or put this lever in. So if that magazine is in and you're trying to put that lever back in because you did it out of order, it's not going to go in. Don't smash it in. Stop, take a minute, think about it, and then come back to it. If you need to, ask. And I'll tell you, I'll walk you through the steps because it doesn't have to be a big thing. We want this sport to be easy and just something that you can learn and be a part of. But thank you for the customer that reached out and asked for the video. I hope this is helpful to you and to anyone else. I know there's a lot of 1911 videos out there. One last thing is I always like to give a little spray of this. Again, not endorsing this product. I just always used it and it works good for me. I'll spray the whole gun down. I'll wipe it dry with a rag. It gives it a little bit of extra protection. Has some Teflon in it. It's an old school product, but there are a million products out there, and I don't endorse any cleaning products currently. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again on the next video. Make sure you subscribe, share, and like on social media, as well as my YouTube channel. Have a great day.